I am going to do a screen share here so I can walk you through the process. Um, so we actually have the ability that you can create your own login if you don't already have one through the system now. We can still assist you with that as needed as well. The first step, of course, is to go to our website, which is cfgf.org. And once you get to our homepage, whether you have a login already created or if you're a new user, either way, you're going to start by accessing the login button to get into our portal. If you already have a username and password, this is where you would enter it here. If it's something that we created for you, our naming protocol is typically your last name followed by your first initial. So I would be Whitledge S. If you created it yourself, it's most likely going to be your email. If you forgot your password, we do have a forgot password function here. I'm going to demonstrate creating a new user login for you, and you'll see too there is a security question and answer that you'll complete there, which is what you would use in the forgot password feature. Or you could always contact us, grants@cfgf.org, or call us if you need help getting your password reset or getting into the portal. Once you get in here, I'm going to create a demo name. If you already have a login created, it will let you know as well. Now it says, thank you for registering as a grants administrator. It's going to send me an email to complete the registration process. So I will just have to wait a moment for that email to come in. But what you'll receive is an email with a link that asks you to click the link to complete the process. I'm going to give that just a few seconds here. This could take, usually it comes in pretty quickly, but do allow up to, I would say, 5 minutes for it to come in. And if you haven't received it in that time frame, make sure that you check your spam folder. It does sometimes come there. And if you still don't receive it, again, best just to reach out to us, grants@cfgf.org, or call us at our main line, and we can assist you in completing that process. Okay, mine just came in here. I'm gonna actually open that real quick and let you see what that looks like. So you'll see I received registration for, and that should be your name. In this case, I use demo name, and a link that you can click on, which will open right back into your browser for completion of the registration. So here is where you will set your password. You will confirm the password, enter in your date of birth. So again, the reason that we ask these questions is so that you can reset your own password if needed and verify who you are. All of these are going to be required fields as well. If you try to submit before you complete everything, it will let you know that you missed the step. Now, in this case, it's letting me know that my user already exists. Um, Actually, the next step is going to be to register your organization once you're logged in. Um, if you have already registered, please use the grantee organization search. Sorry about that. Now it's going to have me log back in. Okay, and so in this case, I'm actually already linked to an organization. I'll have a video uploaded to show you how to link to your organization, but essentially there is a search function there where you can search for your organization to see if it's already in the system. We do have, if you've ever worked with us before, your organization is already in the system and you can request access to that. If you are a new to us organization, then you'll complete a brief profile, and it will notify us that a new organization has been created. Again, if you have any questions on that process, do feel free to reach out to us. But until your user is connected to an organization, that's one of the most common questions we see is I signed up for a username and password and I still can't apply for a grant. You do have to be connected to the organization because your application is really on behalf of the organization and not as an individual. We occasionally have somebody who is associated with more than one organization. So when you get to once you log in, you'll have the grant seekers page. Don't be alarmed if it's telling you to log in. Just click on grantee dashboard. And if you are logged in, you will have access here. There's a drop down here. So if I was attached to more than one organization, this is where I would toggle between those organizations. In this case, I only have access to one. And you will want to review your snapshot as well as your organization profile information. We recommend doing this every time just to make sure that everything is up to date. So in order to edit my snapshot, I will click this button here. And this is where you can enter in information about your organization. This will also save you time by pulling the organization overview and some of these pieces of information right into your application. So once you do it one time, make sure it stays up to date, and then that organization overview will carry into all your subsequent applications. I'm going to put in organization overview demo so that you can see where it gets pulled into the application. Be sure that you save for each section and that you hit submit when you're all set. If you don't do that last step, they won't save, and then you can view your snapshot. We're going to go back to the grantee dashboard here, and review the organization profile information. This piece you will not be able to update on your end so that we make sure that we're notified if there's any change in contact or address. So if you do need to update this, you will need to either call us or you can email us at grants@cftf.org. Then you have these tabs here where you can double check for if there's multiple addresses listed or if there's multiple communication, phone numbers, emails listed. Check and see what's on here and make sure that it's up to date. We do a lot of our communications by email, so making sure that that is up to date and that you're checking your spam folder is definitely important. Okay, the next step here is I'm going to apply for a grant. I actually just had an email come in letting me know that I updated the snapshot, so that's something you'll receive as well, confirming that there's been a change. So when you get to the apply for a grant page, it reminds you to check out that snapshot on the grantee dashboard and make sure that's up to date. Right now, it's letting you know that it's closed. I had to reopen it for the demonstration purposes today. And of course, we try to keep reminding our contact information all along the way because we do want you to reach out should you have any questions. Just to show you, I do have the Flint Women and Girls program still closed. So if you try to apply for a closed application, this is the error message that you'll receive. Either your organization is not eligible or the grant application is closed. And it links to our page where you can see our grant application cycle so you know when the next due date is. I'm going to demonstrate the CFGF general application today, as this is the one that most people will be completing. The Flint Women and Girls program does have a couple of different questions related to the theory of change, but it's largely the same application. The Flint Kids Fund, same thing. It is very, very similar. You'll see the most differences in our neighborhood small grants program. And the Neighborhood Small Grants Program, or NSGP, is the one application that we are still accepting the paper forms as well. But we did want to provide this online option. So today, again, I'm going to be demonstrating the general application. Okay, first step is to complete the project name, and that is what will initiate your application. And at that point, it creates an application ID number. Be sure to read through this in case you have any compatibility issues. We do recommend the latest version of the browser if possible. Be sure to, in each page, you will be hitting save and go next or save and go back to save your progress. If you have an application in process and you want to go back to it, this is one of the questions I see most often. You'll be navigating to application history. And so you can see I had created a previous demo that I had deleted, and this is the one that I just started today. So that is why you see the ID number there. In order to go back into it, I can click on the number here to edit this application. After you've submitted, all your previous applications can be found here, but you may have to change this range. By default, it only shows things that were submitted in the last 30 days. If you want to see from the beginning of time all your applications, you can select before today's date. And if I had applications that were anywhere in years past, they should show up here. In this case, I'm going to go back to resume this application I just started. As Lydia mentioned, we do strongly recommend that you download a blank copy of the application questions. There is a timeout feature in the application so that if you are typing directly into it and taking a long time to, write out your eloquent answers, you could get timed out of the system and lose your saved, anything that was not saved. So that's why we recommend putting it in a separate application using either Word or Google Docs or whatever your preferred software is to save your progress. So we have the opportunity to preview that blank copy here as well as download the budget. You'll notice at the bottom there is no submit button, and that will only appear once everything has been completed. So that's your key to know if everything has been completed, it won't let you submit until it is. So we are going to jump into section 1, application overview. You will put what the total program costs. So this is not the request amount that you are asking us for, but the amount of money that it takes from this program, your start date of your program, and that is the program of which you're applying for. And then amount requested is the number that you are actually asking CFCF for. So here is our save and resume later button. If we wanted to leave where we are but save the progress, at any point you can preview your PDF. Back will navigate you to the previous section. In this case, we're going to continue to save and go next. So this is where I entered into the snapshot where you can summarize your organization, and it's going to pull into your application. This asks if there's any significant organizational changes in the past year. So if you've moved locations, if your leadership has changed, if your board has changed, if you've had a lot of new staff come on, this is where you can detail that, or you can simply let us know that there's not been any significant change. The next question here for project information, you will be selecting the top 2 grant programs or strategic priorities that are best aligned. So this will allow a multi-select option. There is an other option if you don't feel that it fits with anything here. In this case, we're going to say access to healthy food and poverty and basic food support. but you'll go through to whatever best aligns with your program. So you hit save. Briefly describe how your project aligns with the strategic priorities above. So the two things that you selected here, let us know how you believe that they are a fit. Did your organization receive funding from CFGF for this project in the past year? This is a drop down. If you select yes, you will receive an additional question to describe the project process progress to date, and let us know what's going on with that. If there's been any changes to the project in the upcoming year, let us know. If you select no, those questions will not appear. How would you describe the project in one sentence? So this can be something very brief to say, if I got funding, what are we using it for? And this could be to feed low income residents on the north side of Flint. So just for an example, something very short that says, what are we doing with the funding should we be awarded? Okay, I'm going to save and continue on. What are the goals and activities for your project? So this is where you'll go into more details of how you plan to accomplish the goals of your project. What is your organization's experience in working with this type of project, and who will be responsible for the oversight and why? So just give us some information on if it's a brand new project, that's absolutely okay too. Just let us know who's involved and what kind of experience they have that might be helpful for putting on this project. Save and continue. Next, we have the geographic areas served by the project. This is another multi-select. You can select as many as apply, but if it is Genesee County-wide, all you need to select is that option there. And then we do have another option in case you are serving outside of the county. I don't recommend using the select all feature, although that is there because it is a multi-select question. Make sure you hit save, and now that's populated there. Next question is how many people will be served by your project, and we completely understand that it is unlikely that you are going to have an exact count of how many people will be served. So just give us your best estimate, or if it's a project that you've done before, you can let us know how many were served the previous time. We understand that there are underserved and or marginalized populations in our community. Will your project address issues or needs of underserved or marginalized populations? Select all that apply. So in this case, you could select other if none of these are your target audience. But if you do think that you are going to be working with certain groups, you can select as many as you think apply. Save. So here it will only tell me how many values I selected, but if you preview the PDF, it will actually list all of the selections out for you. And that's what we'll see at our end as well. Please describe how your project will intentionally address the disparities, issues, or needs of the underserved and or marginalized populations you've identified. So basically explain back to how you're going to run the project, but also how you are going to target what you're doing to the populations that you've identified. How are you going to reach those that you've tried to serve? So what next question goes into what is your strategic outreach to reach the underserved or marginalized populations you've identified? So not just I'm running the project and these are the people that are going to be served, but how are you planning to reach them? Have you involved the most impacted populations in the development of this project? So ideally, that's always best practice. Nothing about us without us. We want input from those who you are serving. In some cases, you may not be able to do that. But if you are, we want to know about it. Save and go next. Another best practice is to partner or collaborate with other organizations or individuals in the community. So if you have partners or collaborative relationships already identified, we would love to know who you're partnering with and how you're planning to partner. If you have a letter of support, we encourage those as well, or an MOU of your partnership. We have an opportunity to attach those to the application as well. It's not mandatory, but if you do have those partnerships identified, we love to see what the agreement looks like or how you plan to work together. You'll notice I'm putting an X in each one so that it will show it as completed, because if I left them blank, it will not let me finish the application. But I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. What are your plans for evaluation, including how success will be defined and measured? So what does success look like for this project, and how do you know if you made a successful project? Explain whether and how Community Foundation funds will be used to leverage additional dollars. So in some cases, it may be a small project and you won't need any funds beyond what you're requesting from us. But in a lot of cases, especially as Sue indicated that, we tend to be a smaller grant size than some of the other funders. So we want to know how funding from us may help you access or meet your total goal by using our funds to match with additional dollars that you may be seeking. If your project is funded by CSCF, what are your plans to continue this project at the end of the grant period? Sometimes it may be just a one-time project, or you may say, I'm going to evaluate and see if it's worth doing again, or maybe this is something that you were always doing. So once our funding ends, what happens next? We want to make clear that as was stated earlier, we are a competitive funder. So unfortunately, we typically don't make multi-year commitments. And if you are planning to continue on, we want to see what that looks like. Are you planning to grow the funding? Are you planning to apply with us again? That's absolutely fine as well. We just know that we cannot guarantee our funding from year to year. Can your project move forward with a partial grant CSCF? So we want you to ask for the total amount that you need from us. Don't be shy about asking for what you need, but also know that if we have a request size that we can't meet, but we can award a partial grant, a lot of times that's a possibility as well. And we want to know what might change. If your full grant request is not met, are you able to move forward, or is this an all or nothing? You're our only funder, and if we don't get our full funding amount, the project will not be able to continue. That helps us know if we're able to make a partial award, if it's going to still be impactful. We added this statement in the last year just to avoid confusion about that submit button. I'm about to show you on the next page, you'll see green checks all the way down, and naturally, that may indicate that I've completed everything, I'm done, but for us, it is not submitted until you hit the actual submit button. So we ask that you check this box just to make sure that you understand that, so that we don't have any confusion about what's been submitted or not submitted. So as I mentioned, here's all your green checks, but you'll notice I still don't have a submit button. The one thing that is mandatory for every single application is a budget. Letters of support, again, are encouraged if you have them. Organizational financials are typically going to be required for every organization. But if you've already applied with us for the year, then and you've given us your most recent one, we still have that on file, so you don't need to submit a new one. But we do want to make sure that we have what your most recent financial document is. And then we also have an opportunity to attach additional information. So if you have anything that's not covered in these other options that you want to share with us, we absolutely want to give you the opportunity to do that as well. In this case, I'm going to go into the budget and attach the file. Please submit a project budget showing expenses and revenue, both confirmed and pending. We do have our budget template that you can go off of, but if you have a budget already created in a different format, that's absolutely fine. We just want to make sure that we see both the expenses and revenue, and we want to know what your revenue sources are other than the request for CFGF as well. So this is where we will select our file. So you hit the upload button at the bottom. If you have multiple files, this is where you could add multiple at a time. You want to make sure that the file name populates here. This is where you can click and open it again if you want to double check what you've uploaded. You can also remove it if you need to change it out to something different. Once you do have something here, it will also note requirement is complete. And now I can go back to my application. And now I have my big red submit button. Will take me to the next page. So you actually have one last step here where you do have to put in the name of your executive director and your board chair that has signed off on the request and the applicant signature. Again, we're just typing names here as digital signatures, but the applicant signature is going to be the person who's completing the application on behalf of the organization. And you'll put in today's date. And once more, the big red submit button. If it takes a moment like it is right now, you do want to make sure it goes through before you navigate to any other website. Now it lets me know application is submitted. And you'll also receive an email confirming the submission. Once again, if you need to go back to an application in process, or now that it's submitted, I can see the status by going to the application history. In this case, it says received. There are other application statuses you may see, such as staff review, committee review, review complete, approved, declined. And we will reach out to you typically via email, whether it is approved or declined. We'll make sure you receive a notification. But sometimes you can stay a little ahead on the status just by checking here and seeing where you are in the process.